All right, let's just dive right into it. Today, we're unpacking this explainer on the surprisingly hidden risks of hitting connect at your local coffee shop, hotel, or, the airport. We're going to look at the very real threats that exist in 2026, even in a world where we all like to think our devices are locked down. We literally all do it, right? You sit down, grab your latte, and instantly hunt for the Wi-Fi. But today, we're going to unravel the mystery of what actually happens to your data when you join one of those open networks. Because as you're about to see, you might be paying for that free connection in ways you definitely didn't sign up for. Honestly, it's just second nature for us when we're traveling. Like internet security expert Eric Plam hits the nail on the head here. Connectivity is basically like water and air to us now. But, and this is a big but, experts are warning that this free air you're breathing could end up costing you your private info. Cyber threats are multiplying, and these public access points, they're absolute prime hunting grounds for bad actors. So, let's debunk the absolute biggest myth right out of the gate. The idea that a password-protected cafe network actually means you're safe. We kind of naturally assume that typing in a password scribbled on a chalkboard gives us this secure, private little bubble, or maybe we think popping open an incognito tab keeps us hidden. No way. The reality? You are on a shared network with complete strangers, and your metadata, along with your physical location, can totally just leak right out. Think of it like a members-only club. Sure, the password keeps the random riffraff off the street from connecting to the router. But once you're inside, you are still standing in a crowded room packed with strangers. Everyone with that same password is on the exact same local network segment. So essentially, anyone in that digital room could just fire up some freely available packet sniffing tools, basically digital eavesdropping software, and spy on your unencrypted traffic. It's wild. Which brings us to Section 1. The invisible threats. Let's look at what you can't see. If that shared password doesn't protect you, what else is out there? Well, the first major threat is called an evil twin hotspot. And attackers absolutely count on our desire for convenience here. They know your phone is probably set to just auto-connect to the strongest signal or to a generic name you've used before. So they just set up a fake router nearby with a super believable name, something like airport_free_Wi-Fi. The second your device connects to it, boom, they control everything flowing between you and the internet. They are perfectly positioned to intercept your data. And once you're hooked to their rogue hotspot, or even if they've just compromised a normal open network, they can pull off a man-in-the-middle attack. It's exactly what it sounds like. The attacker literally just sits right between your device and the websites you're trying to visit. From there, they can capture your data while it's in transit, or even worse, seamlessly redirect you to fake websites. Sites that look absolutely identical to your bank or your email, completely tricking you into handing over your sensitive credentials. Okay, moving on to Section 2, the captive portal trap. Let's talk about login screen dangers. Now, you might be thinking, okay, I'm super careful, I verify the network, I connect to the real Wi-Fi provider, so I'm fine, right? Well, actually no. We have this truly fascinating and honestly kind of scary hard data from Concordia University. Researchers analyzed 67 unique public Wi-Fi hotspots in Montreal, specifically targeting those captive portals, those annoying little splash screens that pop up making you accept the terms of service before you can browse. Well, this study proves that corporate surveillance and data harvesting actually kick off before you even hit the web. Just take a look at these numbers. Over 40% of these networks use social logins or demand you fill out a registration page. When you just casually click Login with Facebook or LinkedIn to snag that free Wi-Fi, you are basically handing them a goldmine of sensitive personal data. The researchers actually found that some of these social logins were scraping users' full names, email addresses, profile pictures, and get this, even full employment histories. And it gets crazier. The study looked into the lifespan of the third-party tracking cookies these captive portals inject. Nearly 60% of these hotspots drop persistent tracking cookies straight onto your device. And shockingly, some of these are explicitly designed to stick around, tracking your browsing behavior and your physical movements across different locations for up to 20 years. That is 2 decades of tracking for a single cup of coffee. Actually, scratch that, it gets even worse. The researchers found that nearly 39% of these hotspots inject your device with these tracking cookies and leak your unique physical MAC address, which is essentially a permanent, unchangeable digital fingerprint for your phone, to third parties before you even check the box to agree to their terms. Yeah, you are literally being tracked the second that splash screen loads. All right, let's jump into Section 3, why HTTPS isn't enough and the limits of encryption. So you might be sitting there thinking, well, I only visit secure websites with that little padlock icon. Modern encryption's got my back. But that is really only half the story. Now, it is absolutely true that the internet is way safer than it used to be. As of 2026, a massive 95% of web traffic is completely covered by HTTPS encryption, which is great. It means that raw password sniffing, where a hacker just grabs your password in plain text out of thin air, is incredibly difficult for standard web browsing.
But here's the crucial point. HTTPS protects the contents inside the pipe, but the pipe itself still leaks your metadata. Network operators and snoopers can still see exactly which websites you are visiting because DNS queries are usually unencrypted. They can track your physical device using that MAC address we talked about. And HTTPS, it does absolutely zilch to protect you from a fake captive portal designed to steal your credentials or malware injected through some vulnerable mobile app you have running in the background.
And hey, if you're relying on your browser's private or incognito mode, you need to know it does absolutely nothing for your network security. This quote really sums it up perfectly. It's like wearing a disguise inside a glass house. Sure, you might feel hidden and it hides your search history from your roommate, but the Wi-Fi provider and anyone snooping on the network, they can still see your digital footprints plain as day.
Let's bring it all together in Section 4, your Wi-Fi defense playbook and how to stay safe on the go. We know the risks are super real, from evil twins to 20-year tracking cookies. So let's transition from the doom and gloom to some empowerment with a concrete, highly effective safety playbook. Starting with the basics, these are habits you should just build today. Always verify the exact network name with an actual human. Just ask the barista to make sure you aren't falling for an evil twin trap. Go into your phone settings and turn off Auto Connect to open networks right now. When you aren't using Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, switch them off so your phone isn't just silently broadcasting your location everywhere you walk. And finally, always tell your device to forget the network when you walk out the door. Now, to truly lock down your device, you've got to layer those defenses. First up, enable encrypted DNS in your browser settings to hide which websites you're visiting. Second, definitely utilize a trustworthy no-log VPN. A good VPN scrambles all your traffic before it even hits the local network, which basically makes packet sniffing and metadata tracking completely useless to attackers. Third, protect your accounts with app-based two-factor authentication, so even if a password somehow gets stolen, they still can't get in.
And finally, remember that context is everything. You have to assess your risk. If you're just, reading the news at a local cafe, standard HTTPS combined with a solid VPN is generally totally fine. But for high-stakes tasks, like checking your bank balance in a massive, high-target environment like an airport or a hotel, your absolute safest bet is to skip the public Wi-Fi drama entirely. Just tether to your phone and use your own 5G mobile data. So, after seeing the reality of how these captive portals harvest your data, how those tracking cookies can linger for decades, and just how ridiculously easy it is for an attacker to set up an invisible trap, I think it's time we all rethink our default behaviors. Take control of your device's settings today. I'm going to leave you with this one question. Knowing what you know right now, next time you sit down at a cafe, will you still let your phone blindly trust a free connection? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and stay safe out there.